see the world. The UK's unique melting pot of diverse minds always brings a fresh perspective. And when we combine our view together with yours, we can all see things differently. Do you see gravity? Or do you defy it?
And a flying leap from May.
Do you see a party or proud diversity? Do you see a place as old as time or a breakthrough that could save your life? We see power in the weather. We see how entertainment can change the world.
It's wonderful.
We see love and embrace it. We see a challenge and face it. We see the chance to go further together. To connect, collaborate, educate, celebrate, and make anything happen. So let's open our minds, invite the unexpected in, and answer the big questions together. Join us and see things differently.
My name is Jaqueline Nakamura. I'm head of the Inward Investment Team for Latin America and the Caribbean, and I'm very happy to be here today chairing the GEP Global Week event for Latin America and the Caribbean. Let's start. I'm happy to invite our first opening speaker, Spencer Mahoney, who is our Deputy Trade Commissioner for Latin America and the Caribbean. Spencer, over to you.
Hi, thanks, Jacqueline. Hi, good morning, everybody. Great to be on this call with you. I'm a Deputy Trade Commissioner. Let me explain what that means, because it's an odd title, right? But I'm responsible for helping British companies come to Latin America and helping Latin American companies find a home in the UK and to grow their business. And we have about 150 people doing that. I say that because the UK government really cares about making it easy for businesses to do business. We know you are the wealth creators, you're the innovators, and want you to be able to do that in the UK. So this program you're going to hear about today, I think is really exciting. I'm actually based in Mexico City, and of that 150 people, we're all based in Latin America. So we're hopefully quite close to you. My background is doing business, helping businesses from within the government. I've worked in China, India, the United States, and I've just come from a technology company where we went from 100 people to 500 in a couple of years. And my role was taking them around the world, entering new markets. And so I feel how challenging it is for you and the pressure of having a business and making those decisions about where do you set up, where do you grow, how do you handle data laws and all that stuff. And I think this program that you're going to hear about today is really valuable because it helps make that easy, puts you into a network to help you figure out what you want to do. And you'd be in good company. I think we've had over 30 companies from Latin America join the program and ends up shifting to the UK. And we've worked with hundreds of companies to find a home in the UK and grow their business and prosper. You know, the examples is from drone companies from Argentina, health tech from Brazil, software from Colombia. So it really is a range. But just to welcome you, we'd love to talk to you in more detail. I'm really excited about the presentations today, and we've got some exciting news for Latin America that my colleague Tim Kay is going to talk about. But welcome and look forward to meeting some of you in future. I think I pass over to Tim now.
Thanks, Spencer. I'm not sure I can follow either that introduction or indeed the video that we started with. But it is great to be here. I'm talking to you from the UK. I cannot compete with Spencer's more glamorous location, but it's great to be here. My name's Tim Kay. I'm the Deputy Director over here at the Department for International Trade, where I look after the tech sector team. Spencer's already given a great introduction in terms of, as a department, what we do. We help UK businesses grow their businesses by expanding overseas, and then we do the opposite of that in terms of attracting inward investment into the UK. As you won't be surprised to hear from what I've just said, my focus and the team's focus is very much on tech and digital businesses, and I'm delighted that we can hear more about that as we go through today. I think the only the bit of context to what the team does is we work across a whole spectrum of shapes and sizes of businesses. That's from the very big, so the Fortune 10, FTSE 100 type companies, all the way back to the entrepreneurs, innovators, early stage companies that we're going to hear and talk about more. Which is why I was delighted when the Global Entrepreneurs Programme came back home, for those of you who have been involved in it for a few years, into my team earlier on this year. And I think the piece that I'd like to just get across to you, because we're going to hear about what the program looks like and how successful it has been for a set of entrepreneurs, is actually where that fits in the broader government agenda. Because of course we're interested in trade, we're interested in investment, we're interested in helping your businesses grow, but actually it's a much bigger piece for us as government. As we've set out over the past period of time, sort of the last 6-12 months, we very much want the UK economy to be innovation-led. We want it to be forward-looking, and that's obviously for economic growth and everything that comes with that in terms of jobs and prosperity. But it is a much broader, longer-term piece in terms of actually how do we deliver strategic advantage for the UK. Obviously, part of that is about us helping UK businesses grow, and we will obviously continue to do that, and it's a big part of our work. But I think the piece, obviously, we're here to talk about today is how we make the UK a great place for you to come and locate your business to and grow it from there. I'm delighted that we're going to be joined by two founders who have been there and done it, specifically on the Global Entrepreneurs Programme. So we'll hear later on from Dan and Raphael, and they have fascinating stories, and I'm sure you will find that incredibly beneficial. And I think the other piece that is important in that is not only is this an important agenda across government, but we're backing it up with action. So earlier on in the year, we actually managed to convince our Treasury colleagues to give us a bit more money to expand the programme. And one of the pieces of that expansion, as Spencer has already trailed, is that we are we're adding some resource specifically for priority regions, one of which is LATAC, and I'm delighted that later on we will hear from Paula, so our new dealmaker, who's going to be focused on the region, and I'm sure that she will be, I know her background, it is fascinating, it is going to be incredibly valuable to the team and hopefully you in the region. So look, Spencer's already said 30 companies from LATAC. I want there to be lots more. I want you to be part of the cohort of about 1,000 businesses and entrepreneurs that have come to the UK as part of the GEP. And before I hand back and let you hear from the people who have been there and done it, I suppose it would be remiss of me, not to make the pitch for the UK from a tech perspective. You're obviously going to be coming and joining a vibrant cluster, which I hope, if you're not aware of already, you will be in the next 50 minutes. We have got, I think it's 100+ unicorns and counting. If you look at venture capital investment, the half-year figures for 2021 exceeded the total figure for 2020, which was already in itself a record level of investment. I think the tally is currently sitting at about $16 billion. Not obviously that we keep score, but on venture capital investment and unicorn creation, we are more than France and Germany combined. But as I said, we don't keep score. So look, the investment landscape is great. You're joining a set of like-minded individuals. That is partly based on the talent base that we've got here, which ranges all the way from sort of general digital skills all the way through to deep tech. I'm sure we're going to hear more about that as we go through the next 45 minutes. That is all I've got to say, other than obviously we are doing this in a virtual environment this year. I hope that next year, or maybe indeed a bit sooner than that, we can welcome you all face-to-face into London and the rest of the UK. So with that, thank you for having me. It's going to be a great discussion, and look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for joining us today. And as Tim and Spencer was saying, we are side by side. So I am also at Post. I'm based in Brazil, São Paulo. Spencer is based in Mexico. And you see today that we have guests from all across the Latin American region. So I think we should start, right? I'm just calling Jude, our two deal makers, Jude Ower and Paula Espana, that Tim just mentioned. She is our new LATAC deal maker. Jude, Paula, over to you. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here. And yeah, so I thought we would start with myself and Paula giving an introduction to who we are and our backgrounds, and then we can get into a chat about the role of the deal maker. Paula, do you want to kick off?
Thank you very much, and thank you also for having me. Good morning to everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here. And basically, the idea would be to give you a brief explanation of what we are doing here and how we can be of help to you to scale up your company from Latin America using the UK as a platform to doing so. So, basically, what do we do here as deal makers? I will be the deal maker, as very kindly they have just introduced me, for Latin America. And my objective would be to be kind of a link between all the posts, all the countries in Latin America and the UK, working together with, for example, Jude and all the deal makers in the different places of the UK and in the different sectors, in the different industries, to help the different companies optimize all what UK has these days to offer to the startups and the companies that have not started so short ago to scale up. Jude, perhaps you would like to explain a bit more about the general work of the deal makers in the UK, so that perhaps I can touch on what we will be doing from here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we were incredibly lucky to have you, Paula, on the program. So I joined the program 2 years ago, or just over 2 years ago. So I'm based in the UK. I've got a background of gaming and ad tech and business for good. So I'm on my third business now, and I think one of the things that really kind of I thought was incredible about the program is that we are entrepreneurs supporting entrepreneurs, and I think that's really, really valuable because we have been through those journeys before. We've built the networks, we've been fundraising, we've got partnerships, but also we've been through the pains and we've got the scars, and so the emotional journey is just as important to understand as the kind of practical journey of building a business from the UK. So just a kind of summary of the role of the deal maker is we are supporting international founders who want to set up a headquarters in the UK. And what we'll do is we'll work with those founders to ensure that they have everything in place for them to make their move as smooth as possible. So essentially, it's like a soft landing where we ensure we put them in touch with the right people around kind of legal, IP, finance, setting up bank accounts, around visas, and then there's also the softer side as well. I mean, looking at things like where to live. Advice on areas in the UK, and if you've got families, what about schools, and the differences between the different areas in the UK as well, and that could be around the universities and the skill bases. So there's lots to know about the UK that we help with, and essentially our role is to be an unfair advantage to those founders that are coming to the UK, to help them grow and expand as quickly as possible, to have really successful businesses. And so yeah, so it's been incredible the past couple of years getting to meet the most amazing founders. Before the pandemic, we would go to markets and we would do events and get to meet people in person. And obviously that hasn't been the case over the past 18 months. We've done more and more online, which has also been great because we've probably got to meet more people that way. But as things start to open up, I had the pleasure to meet Paula in person this week, and also to the panelists that you'll hear from as well are in the UK. So we actually got to see each other in the flesh. And so we're really excited to have Paula on board because, in terms of having someone in the region who understands where that person is coming from and has been on that journey themselves. And Paula, when we met this week, you've got an incredible background, and we had such an interesting chat that could have gone on for ages around your journey and just your experience of being able to help, where other people can learn from as well, and some of the things that you wished you'd done or some of the mistakes you think you'd made. And so we're incredibly lucky to have you on board so that you can help us from the market side, and I'm here from the UK side, as people start to land and set up here. But I'm really interested from your perspective, Paula, just to kind of hear a bit more from you in terms of some of the trends that you're seeing in the market. What are you most excited about? What types of companies do you think will see more of and can support?
Yeah, sure. Well, as you said, coming from Latin America, I started a company in Latin America many years ago, and unfortunately, I didn't have the GEP program at that moment. But we started our company in Argentina back in 2008. It was a cloud offering, so it was quite difficult for us because we were evangelizing at that moment, explaining what it was. It was a platform for private equity at a technology company to measure the performance of their investee companies. Coming from Argentina, selling something so specific was quite a challenge for us. So we decided to move to the UK, and when we did so, everything changed. Basically, these days, what I've seen is that the region, as Tim has just said, has evolved a lot. From the numbers that I've seen, just in the first half of this year, the VC investment in the region has grown more than 100 times, which is a lot. That doesn't mean that the investment is necessarily done totally in companies that are in the region, but perhaps they were born there and they have their headquarters in other places, keeping their development and operations in the regions, sometimes being the market, Latin America, or other times being just a global market. There is a lot of talent spread along all the countries. We are seeing mainly technology companies the last years, biotech, food tech, ad tech, gaming, but we are having an aerospace company that's moving also, especially this week. We will see it later today, but not necessarily something specific. Really, the talent is spread along the whole region, and we are finding that the UK is a great environment to develop the companies, and basically the objective will be to make the journey easier than it was some years ago for us when we didn't have a program like this one, no?
Mm. And just when we were talking about your business and your move, I just think GEP would have been ideal for you. The fact that you moved, you set up your HQ, you grew the business, you had IP. That's all the sorts of things that we're looking for as part of GEP. So key criteria is you're setting up your headquarters. You've got intellectual property, and it's an innovative company. You've got global growth aspirations, and if you can tick all those boxes and you're a great founder, you've got some traction, then we can then support you and help launch you from the UK. But yeah, just when we were talking and listening more about your business, you would have been the perfect candidate for GEP. So I just want to ask you, because I know that we'll probably talk about this a bit more on the next panel, but in terms of our support for companies, what would be your advice for companies coming from LATAM to the UK? Any that are kind of considering the move, is there any kind of top tip that you would give them that you learned when you were doing it?
Oh, yes, many really. First of all, do the homework. do a lot of research to really understand your market, not only in our region. Our region is very different, so something that can be super successful there can be different in a market, in a more mature country as the UK or Europe or the US. But never be afraid, because if there are some things that need to be done, that doesn't mean that they cannot be done. So it is very important to have a first reference, if it is possible, no? Always that possible. And today, these days, that everything has turned virtual, it's much more easier, because you do not need to travel to see potential prospects. So once you have a real client in the UK, you will learn many, many things from that. Learn how to do demos, how to everything works. Also, in terms of the legal part, it is important to have the contracts. So I think that having a first reference, a first real case in the region is crucial. Then never be afraid. For example, in my case, my English is quite awful, but nevertheless, you can explain what your product is, what you want to do, what you are achieving. If your product is really good, don't feel ashamed, because you cannot convey the message as clear as you would in your own language. What is important really is to be serious, to really do what you are committed to be very specific about what you can and what you cannot do. To be very well prepared for the demos with all the material that you are going to offer after you visit a potential client, and have all the legal part, the contracts, all the paperwork in place before you start the process. That is basically what I would say, so that you can make the most of the possibility of going to the UK, because obviously for us coming from Latin America, it is a bit more expensive than developing our businesses in our region. So you have to be very cautious in what and when you spend your money.
Brilliant, thank you, Paula. And also, I think your English is perfect. By the way, I just feel so embarrassed that my Spanish is terrible, so I need to learn in the next couple of years. So for anyone who's listening who's considering setting up in the UK, then I think that's really, really valuable advice. Is to really do your homework. And come and talk to us as well. The fact that we've got Paula on board now, and someone in market who can guide you through these top tips of what to do before you make your decision and move, should hopefully make you more successful when you do make that move, because you started making those connections and you've taken these learnings on board. And obviously there's things that can happen in parallel as well, in terms of looking for that first company to work with. You've got potential investors, you've got you're really understanding the market and the product market fit, and there's so many things that can run in parallel. But do come and talk to us, and we can help you, guide you through that process. That's what we're here for. So I think sorry,
excuse me, yes, one more thing. As you said before, I want to also highlight that the importance of, as you said, we are going to be helping you not only with your business, but also where you live and everything, because you are making a quantum step, I would say, where it's very difficult, because you are moving your life to the UK in some cases, not necessarily always. But if that would be the case, don't let that stop. Pursue your dreams and pursue what you want to get, because it is an excellent environment to develop, and really we are here to make that decision easier for you, and here to help.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really important to point out as well that we will help you with your move, but it doesn't just end there. Once you're in the UK, you're not just kind of left high and dry. So there is an alumni of, I think, over 1,000 startups and founders who have come to the UK, and some have kind of grown their businesses and had exits. But it's really important that the alumni come together and share experiences. And there's events that we do for alumni, and we're a point of contact for alumni as well. So it means that when you land here, we'll keep supporting you. You're probably going to need the more intense support in the first 12 months, because you're getting to know the UK, you get to know the way that things work, and you need to be plugged into networks quickly so that you can quickly get up and running. You'll be hiring your team, looking for investment, and so I think that those first 6 to 12 months are the most crucial and probably the most intense. And then beyond that, you still got the alumni group that you can interact with, and there'll be events happening, and we're always there as a point of contact for you as well. So I think the role of the deal maker is to be your kind of mentor or friend, and to make sure you've got someone to pick up the phone to if you need anything as you're growing your business.
Sorry, one more point about the visas, because that is very important for us. The Global Entrepreneur Program is also helping you with the visa endorsement. So if you do not have a visa to stay in the UK, you can apply for different types of visa, innovators visa, and we will help you with all that process.
Exactly. I think that's a really good point to make. Thank you, Paula. Yes, I think we were running a couple of minutes behind, and we have another panel that we're going to open out to, and in the agenda, and we've got Dan and Raphael coming to be on the panel, but when Paula and I were chatting this week, as typical entrepreneurs, we've kind of changed things up a bit, and we thought it would be really interesting to have Paula on the panel with Dan from Leah Aerospace and Raphael from Lovis. So if we can welcome them to the stage, and as we welcome them, I want to kind of give a summary for the reason for kind of changing up the panel a little bit, and it's because Paula's been through this experience to the UK, grown it and exited, and then we've got Raphael, who's for a couple of years. And so he's got a couple of years of experience of being in the UK already, and then Dan is just freshly landed. So I think just those three perspectives, I think, would be really fascinating for the audience. Dan, Raphael, thank you, welcome. I thought we can kick off with you giving like a quick introduction of who you are and your businesses. And Dan, do you want to go first?
Yes, of course. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for.
We can't hear you, Dan.
Can you hear me a bit better now?
Yeah, you might need to hold it closer to your mic.
Not really?
No.
I'm sorry. It was just working. Hold on.
We can hear you slightly. It's just very faint.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, yeah.
Okay, that's great. I'm sorry for that. This mic might not be working for longer already. So, thank you for having me here. It's really good. Hi, everyone. I have already arrived here into the UK in the past 10 days. It's been a really thrilling experience. So Leah Aerospace is a young startup. We are developing advanced propulsion systems for greener space activities. So deep tech in the aerospace business for spacecraft and rockets in the next future.
Thanks, Dan. And Raphael?
Hello, thank you very much, you, Paula. Hello, Dan. It's a pleasure being here. And well, I created a company many years ago, and we built a new type of enterprise software that we moved on the cloud. And then we realized that to globalize this software, we needed to move out of Mexico, where we had been over 20 years. So we chose the UK and London as the place to take our software technology and our company and help companies around the world to get the certainty and simplicity that they need to thrive using our technology. And we're very happy that we chose London and the UK to do that.
Brilliant, thank you. And yeah, we're glad you did too. So to get started with questions, Paula, I want to kind of come back to you and just kind of ask you, as someone who's, you've moved to the UK, you've built your business, you've completed a successful exit, you've been through the whole journey. And I know you kind of touched on a couple earlier, but what are some of the key learnings? I thought it was really fascinating when we spoke about kind of how you did your move and the timings of your move as well. So can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Yes, sure. Well, one of the learnings was we should have come earlier. At that moment, it was a difficult decision to make because, well, I had a family. It was not easy. The company has been created in Argentina, and we were selling from there. But when we came to different parts, for example, the contract, everything was difficult. Once we moved to the UK, everything started evolving naturally, and it was much faster. Everything was natural. The environment was much more friendly for a company like ours. It was a technology company. So the first learning was we should have come earlier so that we could take advantage of more time. Then the second was never be afraid of competition. When we started, our company was new. We have created something that was a new category. So what looked as something that was great was difficult because it was kind of perceived as a nice to have. Then we had more competitors, and when we came to the UK, it was like other people started being more interested about what we did, but also more competitors started to appear. And at the very beginning, it was a bit well, complicated. After that, they kind of helped us open the market, and it was something positive. So I would say that never be afraid of competition. They have helped us, I would say, improve our product. They pushed us to keep up improving all the time and to move faster because we didn't want to lose our space in the market. Other thing that I would say is that, well, it is difficult to leave our comfort zone, and again, never negotiate with fear. Because when, for example, our company was doing well, we had a very nice life in Argentina. So it was difficult to make the decision to move. But when we moved, everything worked out fine, and we could also build a great life in the UK. It was a great place to live, a great place to grow children if you have a family. It is a very, very rich experience. So basically, that is what I would say. Somebody, as I said to them, for example, when we had our first conversation, go as soon as you can so that you can grow your company as fast as you can.
I think that's great advice. And Rafael, I know when we were talking the other day as well about your experience of moving, you jumped into I should have moved sooner. And the same point that Paula made as well, which I thought was really fascinating. So, I mean, you've been here now for a couple of years. So can you tell us just a bit more about your experiences and your journey and why the UK?
Of course. Well, first of all, I founded my company 30-something years ago in Mexico. And until 2013, I decided to globalize it. And then I chose the UK. And finally, I opened my company here in January 2014. I should have done that many years before that. But then I made a second timing mistake. I didn't move myself here. I thought I could run things from Mexico and everything was going to be fine. I moved here to UK January 2.5 years ago, and so I really regret a lot not having moved before. The reason why I chose moving out the company and I selected the UK has to do with globalization, has to do with rule of law, and has to do with access to financial markets. Doing business in Mexico with medium and large organizations is complicated. As everywhere else, you have to deal with many people making a decision on changing their internal enterprise software. Most of them are so bonded with their ERP, and we are replacing ERPs and changing them for our EOS, our enterprise operating system. So dealing with that, the sales process is long, complicated. But if you add, besides that, the risk on certain non-transparent situations, let me call it that way, then it gets more complicated. you've already won the bid, and then and suddenly someone appears and says, well, I am expecting my purchasing fee. Let me call it that way. And that's awful. We never did that, and we're not going to do that. So we started searching for other countries where we could do business transparently. And we found the three things: rule of law, access to financial markets, and globalizing, thriving country, culture, and economy here in the UK and in London.
Brilliant. Thank you, Raphael. And Dan, over to you, because you are just newly here, and it must have been tough as well, because you were making a decision as a pandemic was happening and making your move, and obviously Brexit as well. But how has your experience been, and why did you choose the UK as your base to grow via aerospace?
So basically, can you hear me? Can you still hear me?
We can. You're just very faint.
Okay, is that better?
It's better. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So well, I believe in the first place I should have moved earlier, but I had a pandemic in between, so it was pretty hard to get out of Argentina and reaching the UK. But I did my best, and finally I got here about 6 months later than what was originally planned, maybe a bit more. But well, when I first met Paula in the Argentinian embassy, she told me her experience. She told me what the GEP was about, what all these programs that the government really helped the entrepreneurs having an easier and soft landing in the UK. She told me about many things that really make me very enthusiastic about the idea of moving and moving the company. So when I started doing deep research in the local ecosystem, particularly in all the grants the government actually has, and all the aerospace ecosystem, and almost every aerospace company has activities in the UK. So for me, it was a no-brainer that the UK was a very unique place in between Europe and the US for making and growth my business and making growth the opportunities for my company. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I had a pandemic in between that just slowed things really, really bad for many months. But right now, I've been here for 10 days and already have about 15 meetings. So my network is growing exponentially. So I'm really, really happy of having moved and already starting my visa process. So everything is going pretty good by now, and the help I've been given by both the makers, Paula Espana and Alan Lohner, has been amazing through all this time. It couldn't have been possible without their help and their perseverance with myself and all the process.
That's great to hear. And also, had you started to try for those meetings before you came over, or how did they come about? I mean, did they just happen as you got here, or can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, no, I did a lot of research and lots of homework before actually being here, and already been in many meetings from all 2021 with different companies and different strategic people inside the ecosystem. For example, in the satellite applications catapult, for example, people in Harvard is a space campus where almost every company has an office or an advanced laboratory. So I've been having lots of meetings in the past months. But I mean, one thing is having a video call, and another thing really different is having a in-person interview and actually getting to know the people and showing up. It changes things quite a lot.
It does, doesn't it? That in-person relationship is so much stronger. You can start to build relationships, I think, online and virtually, but until you get to see someone in the flesh, it does change everything.
Yeah, of course.
That's great to hear. Now this is a question kind of for all the panel, and you've kind of touched on this, and I think kind of there's a common theme of I wish I'd done it sooner from everyone, which is really, really funny to hear, because you've all said it. But are there any other pieces of advice that you would give to anyone who's considering the UK a market for their HQ? Paula, I'll come back to you to kick that one off. Oh, and you're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. Yes, sorry. Any other advice to yeah. I think that it is very important. I said it before, and Dan has said it as well as Rafael, is kind of do the homework. Make all the homework that you can, do all the research, prepare your demos very well and all the material. Because we are in Latin America, we are very creative, which is great because the environment sometimes it is a bit more tough in terms of investment. We do not get investment that easier, so we have to be more creative to be able to do things with less resources, which is great because we move fast. But sometimes we do not make that much attention to, or take that much attention to details. So it is very important to learn how to plan and to be more careful, more detailed with all the preparation and the information that we are going to be handling after the meetings, for the follow-up of the meetings. Otherwise, we perhaps can have, it is very difficult and sometimes expensive to go to the UK, have a roadshow, meet many companies, and then you have to do the follow-up of that if they are interested. And if you have all that information, you can keep the ball rolling. If you do not have all that information well prepared, you lose a lot of time and sometimes you miss opportunities. So I would say that it is important to do the homework before, so that you have everything as much as you can, so that when you get into the market, you are ready. You are ready to move faster. I think that would be the second lesson that we learned at that moment when we came to the UK.
Brilliant, thank you. And Rafael, what about yourself?
Well, one of the problems we faced when we came here was the message. We had a complicated message that was trying to explain the technology and the ways to use it and many things. I will not bore you with all the details, but we invested maybe 6 months or maybe 8, perhaps, in redefining the message and building the right story. I mean, it's the same story, it's just telling it in the right way, with the correct language, and not only the type of words, but the spirit, the way to convey what's the value that we do, and talking about the people that we benefit, not talking about the bits and bytes or technology or whatever. I think that's something everyone should do before, during, and after moving into the UK, to work on the clear message that really conveys the value that you are bringing into the market. And as a continuation of that, to build the collaterals that Paula was talking about, based on this message, and it's a real good set of elements that you use for communicating your business cases, your the differences that you have against your main competitors. The benefits have to be very clear, and everything else. So this communication aspect, which is quite different than what happens in other countries like Mexico. I do not know in Argentina, but in Mexico it's quite different from here. We needed to work on that, and we invested time, effort, and money in that order to really distill the message. And now things are moving much easier and faster.
I think that's a really, really important point to make. I think especially if you're a technical founder, then being able to hone in on that value proposition and tailor it to the market that you're in, and subsequently other markets is really crucial, because if people don't understand what it is you're selling, then it's harder to get through the door. So I think that's a really useful piece of advice. Dan, what about yourself? What advice would you give to anyone thinking about setting up their HQ in the UK?
Okay, well, in the first place, I must stand on the words of Paula and Rafael. I mean, doing the homework and being ready to come here is like the most important thing in terms of knowing what you have done, knowing what you will do, and knowing your plans, your differentiation, your roadmap. Knowing what your plans are critical before you, of course, have a land in the UK. But I mean, knowing the ecosystem in particular in my case was critical in order to arrive and start having meetings and start evaluating and knowing the real market and the real customers and what is going on in the real companies, not only the websites. So basically, I do agree on what both Rafael and Paula just spoken.
Brilliant, thank you, Dan. And I think we've got some questions starting to come through, but before we move into the Q&A stage, I'd love to ask you all, in terms of, I'm really interested to find out, how GEP, what were the main things that GEP really helped you with, that when you were making your move, or when you got here, or even, still to this day, what are the key things that we can support you with, or have supported you with? And Raphael, I'll ask you.
Yes. Well, and many things in different stages and for different reasons, but a couple of them that I know are very important is to through my deal maker. First was Tony Kipreos, and there was Milo Skin, different periods. They helped me to find the right firm to build a message, for instance. They recommended me a few, 2 or 3, and helped me in understanding what I had to do. Other thing was to introduce me to the first member of my advisory board, and then I was able to build my advisory board in a very successful way in a short time, few months, and so that was also a thing that was very valuable from GEP. I have to say that we had already customers in different countries, different places. So we were not necessarily a startup. We were a startup here because we had no clients in the UK, but in other ways we were a kind of semi-mature company with already with some things happening in different countries. However, one thing an additional thing that was very helpful is to understand in which stage we are for investment. We haven't received any investment so far, and with all this language that I do not know and I do not understand about the pre-seed, seed, VCs, and whatever, and now I understand much more than that. But at that moment, having a clear picture on where we were located and what type of investment we have to be searching for. So we quit several times because we were not addressing the right type of investors for the stage our company was already had already arrived. So those types of things, investment, helping with advisors, and helping with providers for communication or other things, having really helpful besides beginning to understand the culture and learning many things about what not to do, mainly what not to do more than what to do or how to do it, things that are normal in other places, and in terms of culture suddenly we need to know. For instance, the time you spend in networking in Mexico, you can spend 2 hours talking with the same person, and here, well, you speak 5 minutes. If there's something important, exchange business cards, goodbye, and if not, well, nice to meet you, and the next. And that's quite different from our Latin culture in Mexico, for just to say one example.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that. Dan, what about yourself?
Okay, so I will try to be fast, because if I would tell all things that Paula and Alan did for Lee Aerospace, I would be like forever. So basically, what I've seen in the past months was so many details that they help us deliver in a very fast way, and so many different tasks that would have taken me lots of effort, lots of money that I maybe didn't have, or the company didn't have, and I would have failed in so many things. So having the vast experience in the deal makers and basing our first steps in their experience and their help was critical for us for having a very fast, landing in the UK, and like bulletproof in so many cases, and so many work has been done for us to be here and starting doing business in a very short time. So I'm so thankful for that.
Brilliant. No, that's fantastic to hear. So yeah, there's lots we can help with, and I'm really glad that you're both here, and that we've got Paula on the team as well. So incredible panel. Thank you so much. We have questions coming through. People have got other things to ask you, so I'm going to hand over to Derek, who is going to come on and ask you a few more questions coming from the audience.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Derek Goodwin. I'm head of the Global Entrepreneur Program, and listening to all this amazing comments is great to hear from us. Obviously, it's our before we sort of launch into Q&A. I just wanted to say that I have a special place in my heart. Latin America has a special place in my heart. As a program, we've been engaged since the Olympics. We did a big event at Rio during the Olympics, and I was so amazed at the ambition and the drive and the energy of about 56 founders that we had from across Latin America, that I realized we needed to increase our activity. And we've run a series of events from Colombia, Mexico, Brazil, Chile, Argentina. In fact, just before lockdown, my last visit with Jude and another one of our deal makers was actually out in Colombia, Mexico. So, so this is amazing, and so we've generated significant pipeline since then. And the fact that we've been able to recruit Paula to join the team is great for me. I met Paula a few years ago when she was telling me about her company, and she's amazing, and it's a delight for us that she's been able to join us. The thing about the GEP is, and some of the questions that have been asked, I think there are no hard and fast rules specifically about the GEP. What our aim is to help people realize their ambitions as entrepreneurs. So we support and mentor with our own entrepreneurs to get people ready to make that choice to come to the UK and to use the UK as their base for internationalization. It's not about relocating your company here or moving across here for any other reason than to access the ecosystem that we have. And people, our team, Jude and now Paula and others, you've heard from Raphael and Dan how the support that we give, which is amazing and free. That's a really good point. It's free. Some of the questions come to at what stage should we come into the GEP? Well, really, we like companies to have a product or a technology solution that's commercial, that has been commercialized. We don't work with real startups. It's a bit later stage, because if the companies are going to come to the UK in order to scale, they really need something to develop some traction here in order to access the ecosystem. So the other question around visas, we are a visa endorsement body. So companies that want to come here, founders that want to come here, I know that Raphael came to on a global talent visa before we became a visa endorsement body, but now we are a visa endorsement body. We can actually have support companies to come through, but they have to be part of the program. We don't endorse people outside of the program, and I think that's what we're doing with Dan now. I hope that's what we're doing with Dan now. So that's a significant part. We became a visa endorsement body a couple of years ago, and it really has raised the game for us in terms of being able to approve more or less people coming into the UK, so long as they meet the quality standards that we have in place. And that's another point. We don't just work with anybody, and I'm sure you'll appreciate, we want to try to ensure people are successful. We want to inspire and empower people to come to the UK so that they are in a position to be successful. But in order to achieve that, there needs to be a good product, a good technology, and the founder needs to be somebody that will have a good opportunity and a good chance of being successful here. So we are very strict on quality, and I mean, you'll see from just hearing Dan and Raphael, you'll understand they epitomize the quality of the founders that we are looking to work with. So you know, we're delighted that we now have resource in Latin America. Obviously, Paula's based in Argentina, but Paula is the connector. There's a whole team of 15 people in the UK. So one of the other questions is, how can we help with business development? I wouldn't want to just answer that in a simple, well, this is what we can do for business development. I would prefer that we sit down and actually talk to you about what's your strategy for being here. When are you going to be looking to raise money? What are the milestones that you want to achieve before you get there? Which investors are you likely to what type of investor are you looking at? What's the amount of investment you're looking for? as well as where are your customers. So rather than just talking to you about your business development strategy, let's talk about your overall strategy for expansion once you're here, because that's what we do. We provide a full service, as it were. The other thing is, once you're in the GEP, you're always in the GEP. We don't just let companies come here and wave goodbye. We provide the fishing rod. We don't give you the bag of fish. It's down to you to be successful, but we can advise and steer and make those key introductions. So I'm just looking to see if there are any things that I may have missed on our questions. Is it a requirement to have clients in the UK to apply for this program? No, it's not a requirement. It's great if you do. Obviously, it will mean that you will be able to hit the ground running with clients here. But if we identify a good product market fit and you're in a stage where when you get here, you'll be able to develop customers, there's no point coming over unless you have something that will be attractive to customers here. So I think it's that. I mean, as I said, we would love you to have had traction here. We would prefer that you've had sales in your home market before you come to the UK, so that there is a record of traction before you get here. But these are all discussions. I would add that the GEP isn't for everybody. What we do, as I said, it's about helping companies, internationally mobile founders, realize their global ambitions to use the UK as your base to scale and grow. It means that the founder and the company have to have a vehicle in the UK in order to do that. Others of you may prefer at this moment just to put a sales office in or a marketing office or even an R&D facility or something. And Jacqueline and colleagues at the British Embassy here or across LATAM, the British offices there, will be able to help you that. And we work together with them on that. So this isn't just ours is specifically focused on founders looking to internationalize tech-based products. I think we have 1 minute to go. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in today, and I hope we've been able to demonstrate the value that we can provide. We love working with founders that have the ambition to become international companies, and we really want to ensure that the UK is that base. Once companies land, we continue to work with them. And as I said, you're always part of the GEP. We have a very strong alumni team, and we will be helping you once you land. So I hope that you're able to contact us, get in touch with us if you have any questions or interest in this, and we'll be out hopefully at some point soon to meet you in your markets. So thank you everyone for attending. Cheers.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Paula, Jude, Rafael, and Dan. I think it was a great event. Thank you all for joining. And yes, as Derek mentioned, I'm here based in Brazil, in São Paulo, but I have a regional role. We have staff in our 5 main markets: Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Mexico. So we are all here to help you. So if you need any questions, any doubts, please, I'm asking my team to add my email address on the chat, so you can all contact me, and definitely we can pass to the GEP team. Thank you so much, and I hope you have enjoyed the event. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Have a great day. Bye.
How do you see the world? The UK's unique melting pot of diverse minds always brings a fresh perspective. And when we combine our view together with yours, we can all see things differently. Do you see gravity? Or do you defy it?
And the flying leap from May.
Do you see a party or proud diversity? Do you see a place as old as time or a breakthrough that could save your life? We see power in the weather. We see how entertainment can change the world. It's wonderful. We see love and embrace it. We see a challenge and face it. We see the chance to go further together. To connect, collaborate, educate, celebrate, and make anything happen. So let's open our minds, invite the unexpected in, and answer the big questions together. Join us and see things differently.